Thomas Bartke here with Trackify X, and in this video I want to walk you through the settings in Trackify X. So Trackify X consists of four main areas. They are the pixel engine, analytics for Trackify, audience manager, which consists of 3 pages, and catalog manager, which also has 3 pages. And then there are settings and the code generator, which is used to put Shopify, Trackify, Facebook pixel events on external pages. You don't normally need to use this for any page that is in your Shopify store on Shopify, but you can use the code generator for generating scripts and pixel events for pages that are outside of Shopify. So let's take a look at the settings, what we have here. We have here the Trackify X master switch. When this switch is turned off, no Facebook pixel events will be generated by Trackify X. Okay, so that's a main on and off switch. Report variance with events is an experimental feature which is turned off. I would not recommend that you turn it on because it creates a completely different event structure with your Facebook pixel events, and we'll talk about that more later. But don't turn it on unless you know what you're doing. Advanced matching enables Facebook's advanced matching feature. It is turned on by default. Microdata enables microdata feature in Facebook Pixel, as well as the automatic button click tracking. This is also enabled by default, but you can turn it off, disable it if you want to. Value reporting for non-purchase events is by default turned off. What that does is if you turn it on, you would get values reported with view content, add to cart, initiate checkout, all the other events. For several reasons, this is not necessarily a good idea to have that turned on, which is why it's turned off by default. But if you want to see values on the other events except for the purchase event, you would have to enable that here. You can enable that here. Otherwise, if it's disabled like it is by default, all values on all other events except for the purchase events are reported as 0. So there's no value showing. Price value reporting, this refers to the value reporting of only of the purchase event. The purchase event value can be reduced, the reporting can be reduced to any percentage that you're setting here. So in the past, someone has had the good idea to reduce this to 10%, which makes it really easy to read your Facebook reports, because the relevant numbers that are going to be changed are, you can just simply multiply them by 10 and you have the right number. Anyway, so that's another experimental feature that you can use to experiment, see if Facebook gives you better ad results if you report less than the full value. It's also being used for, for example, you could try to figure out, okay, on average, my cost of goods plus shipping, let's say, is 30% of my revenue. So then in that case, you might want to set this to 70%, and that would automatically exclude your cost of goods and shipping from the reporting in Facebook. And that way you might have an easier time knowing money in, money out, right? Anyway, it defaults to 100%, and you can change it here and can experiment with it if you want. Initiate checkout on button click. This is a feature that is enabled by default. There are certain situations where you might want to switch this off. If it's switched off, then the initiate checkout event is generated on the checkout page. So this applies to, for example, Shopify Plus stores. You can turn this off. And when you have a situation where you want to land products from outside directly on your checkout pages, you can see if it works better, if it gives you better results if you disable that settings. Whenever you change any of the settings, make sure you save afterwards and you're good to go.